They say it's your birthday. Hi everybody, and welcome to this contest entry. And this is a contest that's been started by Rachel, the Music Man VC. So Rachel is somebody who I've only recently discovered over the last few weeks. Quite a few people were sort of talking about her, mentioning her on videos, so I thought I'd check her out. Subscribed. She's subscribed back almost immediately. We've been chatting since. Really lovely lady. Heart of gold. Great videos. Just can't sing her praises enough, really. So if you don't follow Rachel's channel, I strongly recommend it. She is excellent. Nice wide variety of music she listens to. Yeah, just can't praise her enough. But she's done this competition, and it's called I Say It's Your Birthday. So the first part of it is to check out people who were born on the same day as you, not day and date, although that would be an added bonus. But for example, I was born March the 11th, so anybody music related who was born March the 11th. Going into this, I had one name in mind who I knew, who I will get to, but that's not who I'm going to end up talking about properly. So just a few of the people. It's quite a lot of people who I was aware of their bands, but I didn't know them. So there's Tomothy First, who plays bass for the Horrors. Russell Lissack, who's in Block Party. Can't read my own writing. Rami Jaffe. I wish I shouldn't have scribbled these so much. But a keyboard player with the Foo Fighters. Vinnie Paul, who's a drummer of Pantera. Mike Perry, who's in Dead or Alive. Bruce Watson, who's guitarist with Big Country. Mark Skin from Vanilla Fudge. Rick Rothwell from the Mindbenders. Jan or Jan, probably, because they're German, I think. Skullbrass from Caravan. So lots of people who, as I say, I sort of know the bands, but don't know the members, apart from the main ones. LaToya Luckett, who was one of the Destiny's Childs who got kicked out early. A Colombian American singer called Soraya, who I've never heard of. And a rapper called Paul Watt. But there's sort of standout names. There was three who I would class as sort of big enough for me to maybe comment on. There's Bobby McFerrin, but all I know of Bobby McFerrin is Don't Worry, Be Happy, and on the George Martin In My Life, or whatever it was called, album, that was his last production work before he retired, where various people covered Beatles songs. He, together with Robin Williams, did Come Together, but that's all I know of Bobby McFerrin. The name that leapt instantly to mind with this was John Barrowman. Now, my concern with doing John Barrowman is that he's not really a VC type artist. For those of you who aren't familiar with John, he started off as a musical theatre actor. He does lots of straight acting, although straight isn't quite the word with John, bless him. He's also done a lot of presenting, and he's released a number of albums and done solo tours throughout the UK. He's Scottish American, and he sort of splits his time over here and in the US. Most recently, he was in Arrow for a long time. He's Captain Jack in Doctor Who, so Doctor Who fans know him for that. Lots and lots of stuff as well. I have seen him live. He's very good, very entertaining. He was on I'm a Celebrity last year or the year before, whichever it was. He's a very big personality. He can be very camp, but in a fun way. He's just a lovely guy. I've met him a couple of times. So he was who I was going to talk about, but because he's not really a VC artist anyway, I am ending up going with Jimmy Iovine, I think, that's how you pronounce it, who is a producer, music mogul. He co-founded Interscope Records. He started off as an engineer and sort of progressed into being a producer. He has worked on some huge albums. I've picked out the stuff I got on vinyl. Some of these I got on CD. For example, he was an overdub engineer on John Lennon's Walls and Bridges. He was assistant engineer on Pussycat, the Harry Nilsson album that John Lennon produced. He was assistant engineer on Kansas's self-titled album. He worked at Three Dog Night, the Edgar Winter Group, done lots of work with Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run, Darkness on the Edge of Town, etc. He was engineer, producer, recorder and remixing on Bat Out of Hell. He worked on Easter, Patti Smith Group, Golden Earrings, Grab It for a Second, lots of Tom Petty albums, Refugee, Don't Do Me Like That, Damn the Torpedoes, Hard Promises. He dated Stevie Nicks for a while and worked on a few of her albums, Belladonna, Stand Back, A Wild Heart. He produced one of my favourite albums ever, which I'm holding up the wrong way around, Making Movies, Dire Straits' third album. He produced U2's Under a Blood Red Sky and Rattle and Hum. He mixed with Big Country. He's worked with Rod Stewart, Joan Jett, Pretenders, Alison Moyet, Jeff Healey Band, Eurythmics, lots and lots. Whitney Houston, B.B. King, Tracy Chapman, Tom Jones. Huge discography he's worked on. Some classic albums, more recently Gwen Stefani, Pussycat Dolls, Robin Thicke, Iggy Azalea, all sorts of people. So yes, born on the same day as me, although 22 years earlier, Jimmy Iovine. Okay, question 2 was the morbid side, people who died on the date of your birth. So going through this, there was loads and loads of classical composers who I'd never heard of. I've got a reasonable knowledge of classical music, but I don't think I'd heard of any of the ones who died on March 11th. So other than that, there was only 2 real names. One was Hal Blaine, who was part of the Wrecking Crew. The person I'm going to talk about, unfortunately I've got nothing to show you, but it's somebody who I think English viewers or UK viewers will instantly go, oh, and anybody else is going to go, who? And that is Ken Dodd. Now, Ken Dodd was a Liverpudlian comedian. Rachel, you might have heard of him because he's really big in the 60s. Sort of him and the Beatles sort of shone the torch for Liverpool, so you might have heard. And with your English background as well, you know, it's possible. Anyway, he born in 1927, and he was a comedian primarily. Just really, I was going to say old-fashioned, but not in a bad way. But he just, would come on and he would just tell joke after joke after joke, intersperse it with a few songs. He had some ventriloquist dummy that he used at times. It was proper old-school comedy, but good, really good. He was renowned for really long shows. Average show was about 3.5 hours. He'd just come on and basically just keep going. People would have to leave and he'd just keep going and keep going. 4 hours plus was not unfamiliar. During the 60s, he earned a place in the Guinness Book of Records for the world's longest ever joke-telling session, 1,500 jokes in 3.5 hours. But yeah, that was nothing. He did so much more. He did some acting as well. He was in Doctor Who in the 80s. He was in The Greatest Show of the Galaxy, in Sylvester McCoy's era. he worked with the RSC, Royal Shakespeare Company. I believe Kenneth Branagh put him in. Yes, he put him in Hamlet, the film. Did lots and lots, and it was Delta and Barrowman he was in, not Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Getting them confused. But the reason he qualifies in here is he had a huge music career as well, particularly in the 60s. He had 18 top 40 hits. His debut single was in 1960. It was on Decca and it reached number 8, and that was Love Is Like a Violin. 1964 he released Happiness, which became his signature song. Happiness, happiness, the greatest gift that I possess, etc. 1965 he was number 1 for 5 weeks with his song Tears. He was just a huge music star in the 60s, alongside his TV career, his comedy career. He's just really popular. He was still performing. His last gig was 28th of December 2017, and he died March 11, 2018. So it was only 3 months before he died. Well, less than 3 months, 2.5 really. He was still going strong. He had a bit of notoriety because there was a tax evasion court case, but in the end he won. But yeah, he's just a legend in Britain, and he died on the day I was born. Okay, question 3 is music artists who remind us of our parents. So I share musical taste with both my parents to different degrees. Mum has a wide taste. Not a lot she doesn't like. She's not really into rap or anything like that. Although there's some, she's Big Brothers she was a big fan of. Me and Mum go to lots of concerts together. Yeah, we've got very similar tastes. However, when I think of Mum's taste in music, one name leaps to mind. This is an album I bought for her because she had it on cassette or CD. She got it on CD. But we were in a record shop in Bournemouth before a gig. And I said, "Oh, do you want that?" And she said, "Oh, all right then." Not Anita Dobson, but Adam Faith. Mum loves Adam Faith. He was her favourite in the 50s when he was, big. Remained a favourite until he died and beyond. Strangely, he was actually born, again, not year, but same day as my dad. Just a strange coincidence. Adam Faith, I think he's pretty well known in the US as well as over here, and US and Canada. Sorry, Rachel. Over the pond. So he was big rock and roll star, but he had a very family friendly side to him. He's a bit like Cliff Richard in a way, but he had, he was a rock and roll singer, but he was happy to tone it down a bit to be popular. But he recorded some really good songs. Obviously, I've been listening to him indirectly for all my life. He was also an actor. He went on Budgie, which is what I just showed you. It was a musical based on a TV show that he was in the 60s or 70s. He was in That'll Be the Day and Stardust, either or both. He did lots of film work and TV work as well. Big hit in the TV show Love Hurts as well in the 80s, I think that was, might be 90s. But yes, Mum, huge fan of him, so whenever he pops up, instantly Mum comes to mind. But as I say, she had broad taste. She saw the Beatles live. She was on the front page of the Daily Telegraph because she got expelled from school, I think it was, for bunking off to queue up to buy tickets to see the Beatles. She saw the Kinks live. Two things I'm very jealous of. But yes, to this day, we go to many concerts together. So yeah, that's Mum. Dad, he's very much into blues rock, and he really likes his classical music as well. And and some other stuff, but that's primarily his interests. My early experiences of Eric Clapton came through his music. Jethro Tull, I'm going to sneeze, Tina Turner, sort of stuff that sort of sticks with me from his early stuff, bit of Stones, that sort of stuff. But more lately, he's really got into Joe Bonamassa, Beth Hart he adores. He also had a little folk spell, big fan of Eliza Carthy. But the one I've picked, because basically it's the one I've got, it's John Mayall. I told this story recently when I did my first listen to John Mayall's Blues Breakers featuring Eric Clapton. But Dad had booked to see John Mayall at Portsmouth Guildhall. However, in between booking it and the concert, him and my stepmum moved up to the Midlands. So it was no longer feasible to go to the gig. So he gave me the ticket. And I went instead. And if you want to hear about the gig, watch that video. But yeah, so John Mayall makes me think of my dad, amongst many others. Okay, and finally, the last question was a shout out. I don't watch a huge number of VC channels. There's probably maybe a dozen who I watch regularly. A lot of the big names who people are always talking about, I don't watch. I just haven't got time to watch everyone. So it's people I've sort of developed a personal connection with, or if they've subscribed to me, I'll subscribe back. And then depending on the taste of music is how frequently I will watch their videos. But most people I watch every video. It's obvious names to me like Rob Walker, Richard McCook, James Griffiths, Rachel herself, Shannon D. I'm enjoying her videos a lot. Many Vinyl Dale, Search for the Holy Grail, or whatever it's called, Simon. Sort of the ones that leap out. There's others as well, but one I'm going to give a shout out to is Mike Mason, if I remembered his name correctly. Yes, one I'm going to give a shout out to is Mike Mason, who's a Canadian VCer. He subscribed to me, started commenting straight away. Really nice guy. Made some really good videos showing off his collection. He's a Prince fan, so there's obviously a bond there. He's just shown off his Paul McCartney CD collection, and it's pretty much identical to mine. He's done an entry on this contest. All sorts. Some of his stuff isn't quite to my taste. He's a big Elvis fan, although I don't mind Elvis. I don't collect Elvis, but that's fine, But he's a nice guy. Good channel. Recommend. I'll put a link down below. It's Mike Mason. Okay, so that is it for my entry for Rachel's competition. Thank you for doing this, Rachel. The prize, if I'm lucky enough to win, rather than faff about doing an Amazon voucher or anything for me, could you donate it to your local animal charity, please? That would be very nice. But yes, highly recommend Rachel's channel. She's just a lovely person. And as I say, great videos as well. She's not been a member of VC for long, but she's already the heart of it, if you ask me. But yes, as I say, highly recommend. Thank you again, Rachel. Thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.